Hi guys, this is Eskam Misra and I am going to take the topic on Indian monsoon. So, before starting the topic, I will give you the framework based on which we will proceed. First, in Indian monsoon, we will discuss about its definition, then meaning, then places where Indian monsoon occurs, then we will come to mechanism on Indian monsoon, in which we will talk about different theories based on Indian monsoon. These theories are classified into two types, classical and thermal or modern theories. In classical theory, we will be talking about summer monsoon and winter monsoon. In thermal or modern theory, we will be talking about air mass theory and jet stream theory. After discussing the different theories on Indian monsoon, we will be talking about rainfall pattern, then retreating monsoon, then different factors affecting Indian monsoon. In different factors, we will be talking about El Nino, La Nina, IOD, Tibetan High and subtropical easterly jet. So, first coming to the definition of Indian monsoon. The term monsoon has been derived from the word mausim, which is an Arabic word and which means season. And monsoon, it is a seasonal wind which takes place in a definite manner, keeping rhythmic with the change in season. It means in summer you will have monsoon from the continent towards the ocean, and in winter you will have the reversal. It means from the ocean towards the continent. So, I can summarize the definition of Indian monsoon as in a rhythmic pattern. The reason is it flows from continent to ocean and then from ocean to the continent. Now, monsoon, it is not the phenomena which is related to the Indian subcontinent only. Apart from Indian subcontinent, you will find monsoon in Eastern and Southeast Asia, Equatorial Africa, then in Northwest Australia and in Southwest USA as well. Now we will be talking about different mechanisms of Indian monsoon. Before starting that, I would like to inform about different aspects of monsoon. Monsoon, it has also been explained in Rig Vedas, Holy Indian scripture. Apart from Rig Veda, it is also mentioned by many Greek as well as Buddhist scholars. Though it has been mentioned in the Rig Veda or Buddhist or Greek scholars, the Arabs were the first to explain about the mechanism of monsoon. The first Arabian person, Al-Masudi, the contribution of Al-Masudi can never be discounted. Nobody can discount his contribution for the development of Indian monsoon. He was the first person to try to elaborately explain about the concept of Indian monsoon. So, before discussing the mechanism, just try to understand a simple concept. The concept of sea breeze and land breeze, how it affects. Now see, this is your continental crust, this is the oceanic part, Now sun is here, intense heating from the sun means more insolation, means more temperature. So due to high temperature, a low pressure will be created in the land zone. In the same way, high pressure will be created here. We know the concept of wind. Wind travels from high pressure zone to the low pressure zone. Now wind will travel from high pressure to low pressure. Now, while wind will travel from high pressure zone to low pressure, it means from the oceanic part to the coastal part, it will accumulate moistures. And now this wind is a moisture laden wind. When it will reach the continental part, it will have moisture, and after that it will form clouds. Cloud formation will be here, and due to this cloud, your precipitation will happen. This is the concept which I have explained. This is about this is daytime. In night time, the reversal of it will happen. In the same way, low pressure will be created here and high pressure will be created in your continental part. So now wind will flow from high pressure to the low pressure zone. Now see, try to understand this cycle from high pressure to low pressure in daytime. From high pressure to low pressure, it means from the continental part to the oceanic part in night time. Now just substitute this daytime with summer season and the night time with the winter season. Which will explain your entire concept behind the Indian monsoon. So now we will be talking about classical theories based on Indian monsoon. The classical theory was given by Edmund Halley in 1686, and he classified Indian monsoon into two types: summer monsoon and winter monsoon. In summer, sun overheads in the Tropic of Cancer. Now due to overhead of the sun in the Tropic of Cancer, now you know it, Tropic of Cancer, where Tropic of Cancer passes through, and when the sun is overhead to the Tropic of Cancer, what will happen? Direct heating, more insolation due to more temperature. So due to more temperature, low pressure will be created in the Indian subcontinent. In the same way, high pressure will be created in Arabian Sea, and wind will flow from the high pressure zone to the low pressure zone. And what will happen in the winter? The same thing, high pressure in the Indian subcontinent and low pressure in the Arabian Sea, and the wind direction will be from high pressure to low pressure zone, which is known as your retreating monsoon. Now, when wind travels from Arabian Sea to the Indian continent, it will strike in your southern peninsula, and from the southern peninsula, it will be bifurcated into two parts. The first part is your Arabian Sea branch, and the next part is your Bay of Bengal branch. Now this Arabian Sea branch will perpendicularly hit your Western Ghats. That is why more amount of rainfall in the western margin of Western Ghat. Opposite side you will have less rainfall as well. Now see, this Bay of Bengal branch will do more rainfall in Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Bangladesh and in northeastern parts of India. From the northeastern parts, it will make rainfall in your Garo, Khasi, Jaintia, Naga hills in this region, and from here it will travel towards the northern zone. So you will find the areas, regions like SRIRAM and Cherrapunji, which are considered as the regions having highest rainfall all over the world. Now in this case, this Arabian Sea branch is more stronger and more important for Indian subcontinent. The reason is, there are two reasons. The first reason is Arabian Sea, it is the region of Arabian Sea is more as compared to the Bay of Bengal branch. Now try to understand this Arabian Sea branch and Bay of Bengal branch completely. This Arabian Sea branch of the southwest monsoon, it will strike the highlands of the Western Ghat almost at right angle. Now the windward slope of the Western Ghat, now see this is the Western Ghat and this is the windward slope. This windward slope of the Western Ghat, it will receive high orographic precipitation, means very heavy rainfall. Although the western currents of the monsoon will penetrate further into the Indian mainland, it will penetrate through this portion, still intensity of rainfall will goes on decreasing on the leeward side, while the windward slope of the Western Ghats are the areas receiving the highest rainfall. The leeward slopes from a well marked rain shadow belt, which is drought prone. The heavy rains are concentrated in a narrow strip along the Western Ghats. After crossing the Western Ghats, the rain bearing air currents will descend the eastern slopes where they get warmed off adiabatically. After that, which will result in a pronounced rain shadow area. The higher the mountains, the larger the rain shadow areas. Now towards the north, where the Western Ghats are not very high, the difference in the amount of rainfall between the withdrawal and leeward side is rather negligible. Although a few air currents from the main Arabian Sea branch are diverted northwards towards the Kutch and the Thar Desert, these currents continue up to Kashmir without causing rain anywhere on their way. Now it will continue up to your Kashmir without causing any rainfalls. Now coming to the Bay of Bengal branch. This branch is more active in the region from Sri Lanka to Sumatra Island of the Indonesian region. A north current of this branch will strike the Khasi hills in Meghalaya in northeastern zone. It will strike here. After that, it will cause very high amount of rainfall in the northeastern part of India, which includes your SRIRAM and Cherrapunji. Now another current of this Bay of Bengal branch takes a left turn at the eastern end and the low pressure trough. The monsoon rainfall over the northern plains is assisted by west moving monsoon or cyclonic depressions, which is called easterly disturbances. Now this classical theory, though it is worldwide accepted, still there is some problem with it. What are the problems now? First is, it was not able to explain why the rainfall or the precipitation is not constant throughout the Indian subcontinent. Why it is more in this zone, why it is less in the Deccan plateaus, it is not able to give a clear-cut explanation. That is why after that a theory called air mass theory was emerged, and this is the most important theory and which explains the concept of Indian monsoon very well. Now understand what is air mass theory. Now see, these are your southeast trade winds, these are northeast trade winds, this northeast trade wind and southeast trade wind, they converge at the equator, which is called, this line is called ITCZ, means intertropical convergence zone. Now what happens, now this ITCZ, this is not constant, it varies. Sometimes it varies towards the northern hemisphere and sometimes in southern hemisphere. Then when it varies, in summer it will be shifted towards north, and in winter in the same way it will be shifted towards south. In summer, when it is shifted towards north, then what will happen? The southeast trade wind, they will flow towards the ITCZ to converge with northeast trade wind. Now when this southeast trade wind will overcome the equator, the direction will be deflected due to the existence of Coriolis force. Now what is Coriolis force? This is the force. Now see, imagine this is the earth, and above the earth you have envelope of the atmosphere up to 1600 kilometer, right? So earth is rotating. Now as the earth is rotating, the envelope, I mean the atmosphere, is also rotating with the earth. Now due to the rotation of the earth, in northern hemisphere the wind will be deflected towards rightward, and in southern hemisphere it will be deflected towards leftward, which is called your Coriolis force. Due to the effect of this Coriolis force, now this southeast trade wind will be deflected towards this northeastern zone. Now this southeast trade wind will form your southwest monsoon. Now its path will be changed as like this. So which is called as the causative factor for driving the Indian monsoon from the Arabian Sea to the subcontinent of India. Now this shifting of ITCZ emerged a concept of northern ITCZ and southern ITCZ. Northern intertropical convergence zones in the summer season in northern hemisphere, and southern intertropical convergence zone in winter season in your southern hemisphere. Now how is it related to monsoon? Now see, when this southeast trade wind due to the Coriolis force will be deflected towards northeastern or the rightward of the globe, which will cause the southwest monsoon. Try to understand, this is the Indian peninsula and southwest monsoon will be formed here due to deflection by Coriolis force, and it will form your Arabian Sea branch. Now coming to retreating of the monsoon. Towards the end of September, the low pressure in the northwest begins to disintegrate and eventually it will be shifted to the equatorial region. The cyclonic conditions are replaced by anticyclonic conditions. As a result, now wind will start blowing away from the northern region. Similar anticyclonic winds blow from the Tibetan highland and beyond. This is also the time when the sun makes an apparent movement south of the equator. The ITCZ also moves equatorwards. Now the winds that dominate the subcontinental landscape are the winds which move from the northeast to the southwest. These conditions will continue from October till mid of the December and are known as the retreating monsoon or the northeast monsoons. By the December end, the monsoons have completely withdrawn from India, and from December onwards you will observe winter season. The retreat of the monsoon is marked gradually in contrast to the sudden burst of the southwest monsoon. The retreating monsoon over the Bay of Bengal will pick up moisture on their way, which is dropped over eastern or the coastal zones of Odisha. During October, easterly depressions occur at the head of Bay of Bengal, which move southward, and in November get sucked into Odisha and Tamil Nadu coast, causing heavy rain, sometimes with destructive cyclonic winds in coastal and interior areas. These depressions weaken southward and towards the interior zones of India. During the rainy season, particularly in July and August, there are certain periods when the monsoon becomes very weak. The clouding decreases and rainfall practically ceases over the country outside the Himalayan belt and southeast peninsula. This is known as break in the monsoon. The breaks are believed to be brought about by the collapse of the Tibetan high. This results in the northward shifting of the monsoon trough. Now we will be talking about different factors which will affect Indian monsoon. The first factor we should talk about is Tibetan high, then western disturbances, southern oscillation, El Nino and La Nina. So these factors we will talk about it in the next class.